Picture this. You're driving home after a night out, and suddenly you see flashing lights ahead. It's a DUI checkpoint. Your heart races as you wonder, can I legally avoid this? Well, buckle up, because we're about to take a deep dive into the world of DUI checkpoints in Texas and what you need to know to stay on the right side of the law. First things first, let's clear the air about DUI checkpoints in the Lone Star State. Surprise, surprise, they're actually illegal in Texas. That's right, you heard it correctly. Unlike many other states, Texas law doesn't allow police to set up roadblocks specifically to check for drunk drivers. But don't crack open that celebratory beer just yet, because there's more to this story. While DUI checkpoints are off the table, Texas law enforcement has other tricks up their sleeve to catch impaired drivers. They can and do conduct what's called saturation patrols. These involve a higher concentration of officers in areas where drunk driving is common. So while you won't encounter a checkpoint, you might still see an increased police presence, especially during holidays or big events. Now, let's say you're in a neighboring state where DUI checkpoints are legal and you spot one ahead. Can you legally avoid it? The short answer is yes, but there's a catch. You can turn away from a checkpoint as long as you do so safely and legally. This means no illegal U-turns, no speeding, and no traffic violations. Remember, officers are watching for these evasive maneuvers, and they can pull you over if they spot any infractions. But here's the million-dollar question. Should you avoid a checkpoint, even if you can do so legally? Well, that's a bit of a gray area. If you haven't been drinking and you're not breaking any laws, there's no real reason to avoid a checkpoint. In fact, trying to avoid one might actually make you look suspicious, potentially giving officers a reason to follow and stop you. Let's talk about your rights for a moment. Whether you're at a checkpoint in another state or just dealing with a regular traffic stop in Texas, you have certain rights that are important to know. First and foremost, you have the right to remain silent. You don't have to answer questions about where you've been or whether you've been drinking. However, in most states, you are required to provide your license, registration, and insurance information if asked. Another crucial right is the right to refuse field sobriety tests. These are the tests where officers ask you to walk in a straight line, stand on one leg, or follow a pen with your eyes. You can politely decline these tests, but be aware that refusing might lead to your arrest if the officer has other reasons to suspect you're impaired. Now let's address the elephant in the room. So, breathalyzer tests. In Texas, like many states, there's something called implied consent. This means that by driving on public roads, you've already agreed to take a breath or blood test if an officer suspects you of DUI. Refusing a breathalyzer can lead to automatic license suspension, even if you're not ultimately convicted of DUI. But what if you genuinely haven't been drinking and you're stopped by an officer who suspects you're impaired? Stay calm and be polite. Remember, officers are just doing their job to keep roads safe. If you haven't been drinking, you have nothing to fear from a breathalyzer test. However, if you have concerns about the accuracy of the test or the stop itself, you can always request to speak with an attorney before deciding whether to take the test. Let's shift gears for a moment and talk about prevention. The best way to avoid any issues with DUI enforcement is simple. Don't drink and drive. Plan ahead if you're going out. Use a rideshare service, designate a sober driver, or stay overnight. It's not worth risking your life, the lives of others, or the severe legal consequences that come with a DUI conviction. Speaking of consequences, let's break down what you're looking at if you do get caught driving under the influence in Texas. For a first offense, you could face up to 180 days in jail, fines up to $2,000, and a license suspension of up to a year. And that's just the beginning. You'll also have to deal with increased insurance rates, potential job loss, and a criminal record that can haunt you for years. Now, you might be wondering, what about those devices I've heard about that can help you avoid detection? Let's be clear. Using any device or app to evade law enforcement is a bad idea. Not only is it often illegal, but it also puts you and others at risk. Remember, these laws and enforcement methods exist for a reason, to keep everyone safe on the roads. Let's talk about some myths while we're at it. You might have heard that eating bread drinking coffee, or taking a cold shower can help you sober up quickly. Sorry to burst your bubble, but these are all myths. The only thing that sobers you up is time. Your body needs about 1 hour to metabolize one standard drink. There's no shortcut, no matter what your friend swears by. So what's the bottom line here? While DUI checkpoints aren't legal in Texas, law enforcement still takes impaired driving very seriously. The best strategy isn't about avoiding detection. It's about making responsible choices. If you're going to drink, have a plan to get home safely that doesn't involve you getting behind the wheel. Remember, every time you drive impaired, you're not just risking your own life and freedom. You're putting everyone else on the road at risk too. Your family, friends, and community are counting on you to make the right choice. So next time you're out and about, think ahead, plan your ride, and keep Texas roads safe for everyone. In the end, the question isn't really, can you avoid a DUI checkpoint, but rather, why would you need to? By making smart choices, you can ensure that you never have to worry about checkpoints, saturation patrols, or any other method law enforcement uses to catch impaired drivers. Stay safe, stay smart, and keep the roads of Texas free from impaired driving. Your future self will thank you for it.